I think one of the things that's often forgotten about universities is that they are places of inclusion in a very profound sense. That we have rules that say there are certain topics that can be discussed in university and must be discussed in university, even if there are lots of people who don't want to see them included in the sort of the intellectual business of the university. Every now and again, over sort of relatively shorter cycles of cultural history, people decide universities must be about one thing and not about others, and we should be doing one thing and not the other. So what's really excellent about these institutions is their inclusiveness in every sense. They're inclusive of ideas. They're about the evaluation and appraisal of ideas in the interests of the advancement of human beings. I think that's what they're about. And it bears really interestingly on questions of accessibility, because, I mean, not only is it important that the university should be a welcoming place to everyone, regardless of their abilities, but within that context, there needs to be a broad tolerance for different approaches and accommodations made for ways in which different people need to approach learning. I often think of universities as potentially ideal societies. It doesn't mean they're always comfortable, because they are challenging, but they need to be ideal in the sense that they are inclusive, welcoming of a wide range of ideas and a wide range of individuals.
So I guess we have to have, there's no one way no one tool that we can use that we can depend on to know everything. So I think we have to look at a series of ways where the lines of communication are always open. We've got formal committees that have been set up to address issues around accessibility, and hopefully we have people on campus who are open to have more informal discussions and conversations, where a lot of times that's where you're going to hear some of the real issues. So some of it goes down to some formal structures, but a lot of it, again, I think goes back to the culture we've established and the attitudes that people have towards some of these issues. So there's an openness to discuss the issues when they come up.
The university's made great strides in taking practical steps to foster the inclusion of students with disabilities across the board. There's always much more to be done, but I think we've practically certainly made some very significant advances in recent years. There are hard issues always to be overcome, and those are, there are practical barriers. You can remove practical barriers. You can ensure, accessible entrances and automatic doors and whatever. The most difficult challenges are the ones that aren't tangible or material. They can be intellectual. They can be questions of prejudice, and the most difficult of all kinds, the questions of prejudice which are unintended or unthinking or inadvertent. So I think as part of our discipline as an institution, we need to keep seeing what we do through the lens of our students with disabilities, to make sure that at everything from the practical business of getting around to the intellectual business of what happens in the classroom, we are not constructing barriers, even if they're intangible, but are experienced as real by members of our community.